Welcome back to The Right Kind of Wrong. In the first videos we covered what types of failure there are and how to build the right environment. In this video we're going through actionable practices that you can use right away, whether you're an individual team member or as part of a larger organization. So tools to prevent basic failures. Now, a basic failure is when a routine task goes wrong, and it's often that errors have just crept in from inattention or neglect because the tasks are habitual. So to overcome this, sometimes putting a process in place is key, or a checklist or reminders. Complex failures. These can't be reduced, but they can have the risk of them occurring reduced. So what we want to do is look for the noise, anticipate any weak signals that occur, and then make an intervention so they don't cascade out further. So if we can have early detection, amplifying potential worrying signals, then we can build interventions to reduce the chance of complex failures. So in a hospital, for example, a patient may have their observations performed, temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate, and if this is deteriorating, the person may be getting iller. Now, having a rapid response team to come and review all the people who deteriorate to a certain extent could be an excellent intervention. Part of it is how it's framed. Because if it's framed as this team will always do something, that would be wrong. They're coming in as an added safety check. On another note, we need to avoid a reliance on workarounds, mainly because of the knock-on effect this has on others. If you're working in a department and constantly are borrowing a tool from a different department, that may impact them. We want to embed feedback loops and then also monitor system-wide effects from implementations that we implement. So what we want to also do is apply a learning framework and ask better questions. So after a failure or a near miss, ask ourselves a few questions. What happened? Why did it happen? What can we learn from this? And what will we do differently in future? We also want to have humility. How do I know I'm right is a good question to ask yourself because it overcomes confirmation bias. That's when you think something, so you just look for evidence to confirm that you're right. Also, be ready to abandon a process. We must bear in mind this sunk cost fallacy. Just because we've invested time or money in something doesn't mean we need to keep doing it if it isn't working. Also, getting feedback and providing feedback about what went right, success feedback is key because it gives team members really positive praise and it reinforces them doing the right thing. So that's important when you're managing others. Also, it's important to consider about shame and guilt. They're different. Shame is I am bad. Guilt is what I did was bad. And we really need to encourage the latter so accountability is maintained and the people don't just get in a negative feedback loop of bringing their own identity down. So after failures, it's really about what that person did may have been bad as opposed to them as an individual. They may want to say, I made a mistake, here's what I'll do next time, rather than I'm terrible. Creating a culture of intelligent failure is key because intelligent failures, these are the ones that we can learn from. So we want to create clear intention. This is framework about learning and progress, not just achieving results. Celebrate experiments, especially if they're performed as planned in a safe setting and we can learn from failures. Ensure team members can speak up early, sharing their concerns. We need to amplify dissenting voices so that we can think about what could go wrong if we do something rather than just have lots of people saying yes all the time. We also need to practice reflection. We also need to build different types of awareness. That's in ourself and the situation. What's happening now and what is happening in the future in that particular system, and be aware the actions that we could take could have the impact that they could have on ourselves and others in the future. We also need to bear in mind privilege and context. So for some people, particularly in minority groups, it's riskier for them to speak up. So leaders must be especially attentive to create safe environments that everybody can speak up. It might be worth embedding what we learnt reviews into business as usual, and maybe put that on a calendar and having that as a regular meeting. So the big picture is to embrace learning and progress. Decide, are you playing to win, taking smart risks and learning from these, or are you playing not to lose, in which you're avoiding visibility, trying to play it safe, but you're not progressing, you're stagnating? We need to turn failures into stepping stones of success. When something didn't go as planned, think about it and then think, what opportunities does this provide us to learn from and get things right in the future? Accept that errors unfortunately do happen, and if you're exploring new ground, that may be the right kind of wrong, but minimize the wrong kind of wrong. Emphasize growth over knowing. I don't know something yet, but I'm willing to test it beats I know what I'm doing. So in summary, failing well isn't about celebrating mistakes blindly. It's about designing experiments for learning, being intentional, and creating systems and a culture that can turn failure into forward progress. So thanks for watching these 3 videos about the right kind of wrong. If you found it valuable, please subscribe, share, like. Also, comment below and tell me what your thoughts are. If you want another bonus video, I'm going to go into some detailed examples and reflections from my particular views that resonated with me. So check this video out. And if you work in a team or lead one, just try and foster that culture where it's safe to experiment and learn. See you next time.